Good evening, everyone. Let's get right to news from the nation's capital, where former President Donald Trump has been criminally indicted for a third time. The U.S. Justice Department now charging Trump with several counts of conspiracy in connection with his efforts to overturn the 2020 election, along with the January 6th attack. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. The indictment focuses on schemes by Donald Trump and his allies to keep him in office, despite losing the election to President Joe Biden. Special counsel Jack Smith gave a brief statement on the indictment this afternoon.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
This comes as Trump is running for the White House. He has denied wrongdoing and is scheduled to be arraigned on Thursday. NBC Nightly News will have much more coverage and analysis of the new federal indictment. That's at 5:30, coming up right after this newscast.
Meanwhile, let's get to local headlines now, beginning with a drug danger and market reality check for less than $1 a pop. That is how little pills laced with fentanyl are now going for on downtown Portland streets.
And this is extremely troubling, as you can imagine, to police officers tasked with keeping our streets safe. Let's bring in Mike Benner in downtown Portland. And Mike, one officer you spoke with told you he's never seen fentanyl this cheap.
Yeah, that's right, Laurel, and simply put, it is scary due to the potency of this drug. It is not a stretch to say that if the price of a fentanyl pill continues to trend downward, no question about it, more people will buy these pills and we'll see more overdoses. Southwest 6th and Harvey Milk in downtown Portland, a hotspot for drug use and drug dealing, authorities say. And Tuesday morning was no different. A police officer doing surveillance in the area spotted a guy selling fentanyl.
We went in to stop that individual. He ran on a skateboard, made it a couple blocks. He was arrested here. He is a juvenile, but has an outstanding warrant for robbery.
A 17-year-old arrested for dealing drugs. And believe it or not, it's not even the wildest bust of the week.
I think 200 grams of compressed white powdered fentanyl. So a significant seizure, middle of the day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the city sidewalk.
Officer David Baer says the suspected dealer also had approximately 3,500 of those blue pills laced with fentanyl. Officer Baer says the guy was selling the pills for as little as 80 cents a pop.
We thought, there's no way you can get cheaper than $1. Obviously, with market demands and all that, the economies of the drug market. He said 80 cents, and we even confirmed that because I'm like, there's no way. He just said 80 cents.
He is Eddie's Centeno, a guy with no criminal history, at least locally. Centeno appeared in court Tuesday afternoon to answer to felony drug charges.
Are some of these people, frankly, labor trafficking victims? Yeah, you could absolutely say that.
Regardless of who they are, Officer Baer says they're pushing drugs that should be avoided at all costs.
Don't trust any drugs you buy on the street. All drugs that we've tested, that we've seized in the last year, have tested positive for fentanyl, including cocaine and meth and other recreational drugs. Everything has fentanyl residue on it.
All right, Officer Baer says the police bureau is stepping up efforts in the city's hotspots to address the fentanyl epidemic, and we can tell you they're not alone. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is tackling the problem as well. In fact, just last week, they seized the largest amount of fentanyl in that agency's history. Listen to this, 58,000 fentanyl pills and 16 pounds of the fentanyl powder. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike. We have new information today on the apartment building that burned in Portland's Goose Hollow neighborhood. Preparations to demolish the May apartments could start as soon as this week. There's no date set for the actual demolition yet, but work to get ready is authorized to start as soon as possible. On May 16th, a fire ripped through the building near Southwest 14th and Taylor. A resident who is set to be evicted is accused of starting the fire.
Well, open drug use, discarded needles, and lots of human waste. That's just some of what neighbors along the Springwater Corridor say they have been dealing with as Portland tries new strategies to deal with its homeless crisis. Blair Best joins us now. Blair, you were out in the community today. What did you learn from people out there?
David, the city has been fighting to keep this trail clear of homeless camps for years now. Meanwhile, neighbors are suffering and living in what they describe as a nightmare. The Springwater Corridor trail is more than 20 miles long and has a history of homeless camp problems. During the day, though, it looks harmless. But at night, neighbors say that all changes. We talked with one woman who has lived by the trail for 23 years. She didn't want to show her face on camera since she says the homeless people target her home and harass her.
Fighting these people off my fence, literally trying to climb over my fence, throwing needles at me, feces, dead animals. And now I got to figure out who to call in government to come help. We don't have a voice. All we get is crapped on.
The city of Portland says keeping the trail clear and safe is always a priority, but they can't force people to leave. Now, when we were there today, city crews were picking up garbage around some of the camps there. And in the last 6 months, they've cleared 65 of these campsites. Now, the city also tells us that they're focusing extra special attention on the trail leading up to the Hood to Coast relay race this month, which includes the Springwater Corridor. David.
And we appreciate you giving those neighbors a voice as well. Thank you, Blair. Let's take you to Kelso, where police say they shot a suspect this morning during a hit and run investigation. This began with a call officials say of a multi-vehicle crash near the Columbia River Mobile Home Park. Police say their investigation then led to an address where officers tried to make contact with the suspect. That was followed by, they say, some sort of altercation, one that ended with police shooting that person. The suspect was taken to a medical facility. No word on their condition. The officers involved have been placed on leave.
Coincidentally, today is also the day Washington State Patrol activated a new alert system to help catch hit and run drivers. Brady Wakayama with our sister station in Seattle explains how it works.
If it takes one person off the road that could be a danger to us all, then that's worth the effort.
The Washington State Patrol is activating a new alert system to sound the alarm whenever there's a serious or deadly hit-and-run incident.
We're already in a state where there are fewer eyes, law enforcement eyes, on these types of incidents. So we need more eyes. We need your help.
For an alert to be activated, the collision must result in a serious injury or death. Some types of descriptive information of the offender's car should be available to help the search, and it needs to be reported and investigated by law enforcement. From there, an alert will be sent via email to those who subscribe to the system. Media outlets and law enforcement agencies will also post the alerts on social media. WashDOT will also utilize its highway electronic signs and radio system to alert people.
If you see someone and you can help us, if you see someone doing the wrong thing and you can help us catch them, help us.
To sign up for the alerts, please email hitandrunalert@wsp.wa.gov with your name and cell phone number.
Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson is leading a coalition of attorneys general to challenge Idaho over its strict abortion law. Oregon is also part of that effort. The law in question here makes it a crime for adults to help minors travel out of Idaho for abortion care. The coalition is urging a U.S. District Court judge to immediately block the law. They argue the Constitution protects the right to travel between states.
Back in Oregon, Intel is apparently making plans for an upgrade of its Hillsboro factory's growth that will likely boost the local economy and potentially set the stage to bring in new jobs. Joe Ranieri is here. Joe, what do we know?
Well, David, this is pretty exciting. Now, Intel isn't saying much about these expansion plans, but we received a filing from the Department of Environmental Quality that shows the company applied for upgrades to the Gordon Moore Park at Rondler Acres campus in Hillsboro, as well as its campus in Aloha. According to the application that was filed earlier last month, Intel plans on adding additional fabrication clean space at the Hillsboro campus. That just means they plan on upgrading its aging facility. But the work would also increase emissions at the plant. The application says the changes meet major modification in DEQ rules. That means the company will have to show that their expansion will not cause or contribute to any air quality standards. And an Intel spokesperson told me that they don't have a specific project to announce right now, but want to make sure they are ready for future expansion here in Oregon. Now, DEQ still has to review the permit application, and there will also be public public testimony. But if this goes through, hundreds of jobs could be coming to the metro area with the expansion and the jobs with the construction and with Intel. Oregon lawmakers have been big supporters of semiconductor companies right here in Oregon. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has already announced she plans on giving $90 million to Intel later this month, which is part of the Oregon CHIPS Fund, a fund that was passed to provide financial assistance to Oregon's semiconductor industry. David and Laurel, back